What is up, guys? Sonduren Canadian Rider. Today I'm going to be doing a review on the 2020 Harley-Davidson Livewire. So we're in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, and we're on the Sea to Sky Highway. We're going to be taking this 2020 Harley-Davidson first electric motorcycle bike across these roads. It's a beautiful day, and so far my initial impression of this bike has been very good. We'll start with the exterior. When we went ahead and picked it up, I think it looks beautiful. I'm not the biggest fan of Harley-Davidsons, to be honest with you. I typically like sports bikes, but this has a really nice, futuristic, modern look. I like the paint, this orange. I think they've done a really good job here trying to modernize the Harley-Davidson brand. This is their first electric bike that's come out, so obviously they're gonna do that. And also they've done some interesting designs on the battery and on the actual electric motor down here. So I think overall, in terms of exterior looks, I think it looks really nice. I actually would prefer something that's maybe a little bit lighter. This bike is 550 pounds, so quite a hefty bike, but in terms of the exterior and what it's done with the electric components, I think it makes sense a lot for what's going on with the motorcycle today. This is a $40,000 motorcycle. This is an expensive motorcycle, but it does have a lot of power. 105 horsepower, about 80 pound-feet of torque. So we have a lot of horsepower, a lot of torque. Let's talk about the range. You automatically think of electric motorcycles, you think of electric cars, you think about range. Top range on this, with mainly highway riding, is gonna be about 200 kilometers. 210 is when I picked it up fully charged. That does feel like an issue. I think we just came down here maybe 50 kilometers from Vancouver, and we're already down to 140 kilometers remaining. So, you know, I am getting a little bit of range anxiety with this motorcycle, but we're gonna continue riding down this beautiful highway in Vancouver, one of the most beautiful driving roads I've ever been experiencing in my life. And we're gonna go ahead and see how long it's gonna actually take us through those twisties and through those turns. But initial impressions have been lots of great power. You don't really feel the weight once you're actually rolling on the road, which is good. You do feel the weights at the bottom, so it makes it a little easier to turn. Going left and right through some of the turns, I felt it was a lot easier to control on the bike. Comes with full Brembo 4-pot piston brakes on the front, 2-pot in the rear. Showa adjustable suspension here as well, no shifter. A little bit odd. Obviously it's an electric bike. You're not gonna have any gear, so you're just winding through. I found it was a lot easier to commute with and just going ahead and doing that. The throttle response, you know, multiple riding modes, sport mode, economy mode, all of those different things in there, and really adjustable. The screen is bright, not super readable, honestly, in some of these very sunny conditions, but it was sufficient enough. And honestly, I thought it was a really good experience just going through the menus, you know, going through the driving modes. It helps you adjust engine braking, throttle response, how much power is going into the battery, how much are you putting to the rear wheels. Has the full electronic gamut of traction control features, all of these things that you would expect in a motorcycle of this price, and you know, a brand new motorcycle, a 2020 Harley-Davidson Livewire. So we're gonna see how this actually performs continuing on the street, but suspension's been pretty firm. I have it set up in the sport mode, so it is a bit firmer. I want to see that out. And then as well, we're gonna be testing the charging on this. So this is a DC charging unit. You're gonna get about 80% charge in about 40 minutes from that. But if you're not plugged into that, you're gonna be kind of doing it overnight at your home. It's gonna take an overnight charge to really charge this up. So a little bit of a disappointment in terms of the range, but it is a first iteration motorcycle from Harley-Davidson, so I would expect to see improvements going forward. But let's go ahead, continue taking it out for a ride. I think it's a beautiful bike, and see what it brings. So you're probably asking, is this bike worth it? You know, we talked a lot about the benefits. Obviously electric, instant torque, lots of power. This feels and is as fast as any super bike that I've ever ridden. The range continues to be on my mind. It's not something that unfortunately I can not think about. When you're at such a small range at 200 kilometers and the feeling that it's actually depleting at a faster rate than the computer is telling me, it gives me anxiety. I definitely have range anxiety with this motorcycle, more than I would have with a car. With a car, you're typically looking at longer ranges. At 200 kilometers on mixed riding, it does get to be a problem. I think as a first iteration, it's a great attempt. I love the exterior styling. I love what they've done with the bike. I love the performance. There are some quirky things around the motorcycle I don't necessarily like number one, having the turn signals be on the left and right hand side of the handlebars. When I'm actually accelerating and I want to turn right, it's a little hard because my hand may be out of position. And there are some certain other quirks around it, like the weight. You know, at 550 pounds, it did feel weird at first. I did get used to it, but it never kind of goes away. That weight always feels like it's there. It's really heavy, but as you get going, that kind of just disappears in the background because of the amazing power and torque from this engine. I really do love what they've done with this bike. I do think the world and the future for motorcycles is electric. How far are we away from there? I don't necessarily know. What I do know is if I had $40,000 today, I wouldn't be buying this motorcycle just because of the range anxiety alone. Now, I think if Harley comes out with a motorcycle, another Livewire that has a little bit more range, which I'm sure they will come out with one in the future, you know, 300 kilometers, 350 kilometers, then that's a different story. I think 200 kilometers is just a little bit too low in terms of giving you that, you know, confidence that you can get from point A to point B and back and not feel like you have to plan your trip around these different charging stations around your area. Otherwise, honestly, the bike's been very impressive. I couldn't be happier riding it in these beautiful, beautiful roads in British Columbia. And really, I think they've done a great job. I hope they don't stray away from where they're going with this. I know maybe it's not the most popular bike today, but I think they have a winner here, especially for the next iteration, if they focus on a lot of what was good about this motorcycle and make sure they make those critical improvements that they need to kind of address the needs of the mass market, which is primarily the range. I did feel, especially compared to my Ducati Monster and a traditional motorcycle, that not having that noise made me feel a little bit more susceptible to someone not seeing me on the road. So typically I try to make eye contact with people to make sure that they're aware that I'm there, but I did rely on the sound of the motorcycle to make sure that people can hear me while I'm coming up to them. And not having that, I felt uneasy. I did feel uneasy going in the city streets. I felt uneasy on the highway. I'm not sure if it's something mental. Maybe I'm just not used to it, but I did want to bring that up here because honestly, I did feel like I wish there was an option for some artificial sound or something to make it a little bit safer on the road, because I truly believe to be safe on a motorcycle, you want to do everything you possibly can. And I think the audio or the sounds from the engine traditionally helped, making people aware of where you are on the road.
Otherwise, I love the design. I hope they stick with it. I hope don't stray from this. Power is there, rideability is there, everything else is there for this bike. So really liking it. If you guys like this video, make sure you like the video and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Over 28,000 subscribers. Really looking forward to doing the rest of the riding here on the Sea to Sky Highway. It's absolutely beautiful. So if you want to see those videos, make sure you subscribe. I'll be doing a full piece on this beautiful road in British Columbia, just about 30 minutes past Vancouver, just north. Truly one of the best riding roads I've ever seen in my life. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.